Yeah, well, and it might maybe it'll only be you there. Okay, so here we are. We are live. I'm going to try and set up a couple of things. As always, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Dennis Moulton, aka Gotbot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. While you're at it, check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, and L, the Autobot Family, and that's right, hit the notification bell. It lets you know when new content is going up. Of all sorts. Okay, so we have a few topics to cover here this evening, not the least of which is the fact that tomorrow is the premiere of episode 2 in season 2 of Universal Collision, that being titled Pursuit Among the Stars. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a bunch of Transformers reveals that kind of happened this week. A lot of them were third-party ones that kind of came from out of nowhere. We are going to address a couple of business things, notably the seemingly impending Viacom CBS merger and what that could mean. And we're going to kind of talk about size versus cost just a little bit. And I think that's about it. I got a couple of unpopular opinions to sort of add here that people added last week, and they were great to read. Some people added them in the comments too. They were fantastic to read. So I have a couple of them to put kind of out to you guys to sort of add to it. And we'll talk about the lasting legacy kind of the Bayverse, because that was also asked of me, and I'd like to get your take on it. So give me a moment here to kind of get a couple of things straightened away. We're going to hope that we have better luck than we had last week. That went a little rough, but we'll see how it goes here. And I should be able to I should be able to do this, and I don't think that. I don't think so. Full disclaimer. Last week when we had this issue, Starscream wife fixed it, and she told me what she did, and I said, I don't think that that's what you did. And sure enough, I have the pop-out chat like she did, and what she was saying was there is not there. So I'm not really sure what she expects me to do. That? No, that's definitely not it. That's definitely not it.
Do you need my help?
I'm not sure yet. Not sure yet. No, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. But that being said, this did not work out the way that she said it worked out at all. I had to find something different. Although it's strange, now that I have made this bigger, now it's appeared like she said it was. This is really weird. I'm not sure what's been going on here, but it's really weird. Sorry about this, guys. Bear with me just a little bit. Oh, ooh, wow, that went up too much. Too much. Okay. I think we're good to go finally. All right. So topic number 1, and I know that we've got a few people who have already come in here. Green Turtle Gaming, hi, glad you're here. Gary, glad you're here. MWG, glad you're here. Unpopular opinion. Energon is good. Green. You know what's funny? I own, like, here's the thing, like, I don't like the Unicron trilogy. Never really have, but I own the Energon like box set, and you know, like, I've watched it a few times, and if you were to ask me what's the story of Energon, I barely know it because it's so terribly done. Like, the voice acting so bad, the characters are like, Kicker's terrible. He's a terrible character, just saying. Larkin, I'm glad you're here, buddy. I thought I want to give a shout out here to Larkin's Lair. If you guys haven't checked out, I'm going to say probably his most recent live stream, do so. He went back in time about 20 years and looked at some characters he created. And I'm going to put it out there now, as a matter of fact. Who else here in the chat and watching this, and in the comments, if you're watching this after the fact, have actually created their own characters. I don't tend to do it. I do find other characters that I can use. Like I have a movie studio series, Ratchet, but I'm going to use him as Remedy. And Remedy is an actual character. But who actually makes up their own characters? I'd love to know. I know Larkin certainly does. And I thought that was a fun trip back in time. It was a blast. It was an absolute blast. By the way, congratulations to the winner of that Red Wing. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not just a little bit jealous about it, because I don't think Red Wing is actually going to get a release up here. I think it's like a Target exclusive, and I think it has to do because red is like Target's color. So anyway, we'll see how it goes, but nevertheless. So Larkin, I'm glad you're here. I'd love to know other people if you have created characters just like he did. Maybe not a ripoff of Optimus Prime though. Just saying, maybe not a ripoff of Optimus Prime. Who else do we have here? Real quick, going down here. Adamantium Matrix. Glad to see you're in here. Marvelous Prime. Glad to see you're here, buddy. Maximal 10. Let's see. Might have a lead on some more. What? Oh, odd bots. You always have a lead on odd bots for me, Maximal 10. Wise or just my franchise? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Marvelous Prime. Is it? If it's any franchise, Marvelous Prime. If you've made up characters for any franchise, buddy, absolutely. Larkin, you say that your pictures were cringeworthy, but like I'm still astounded by it. I can't draw with like online programs worth trash. I do very good with pencil and paper, buddy. So the fact that you were even able to do that much was impressive to me. Yeah, I agree. Maximal 10. Target red card exclusive. There you go, Marvelous Prime. Target red card exclusive. So it's impossible for me to get it. I was a big fan of Prime. Too big of one. Is there really, Larkin said he might have been too big of a fan of Prime back then. Is there really such a thing as being too big of a fan of Optimus Prime? Okay, so we're sort of caught up there. I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit while I sort of move on with the first topic here. And the first topic is, was the Bayverse good or bad for the franchise? And it came up when somebody was talking about the unpopular opinions thing from last week. And they asked me, because at this point they hadn't caught last week's live show, and they asked me, hey, did you bash on the Bayverse? And I didn't because as imperfect as it is, and like I know it's imperfect, man. I get it. As imperfect as it is, I can't really say that I have a huge disdain for it for a couple of reasons. The first is it did take really a languishing franchise, because I'm sorry, Unicron Trilogy was languishing badly. It was poorly done. It was a Japanese port that seemed like it was dubbed quickly. It was not done well. I mean, just a step above the star dubs of those G1 Japanese only shows. But let's say that you were a fan of it and you don't agree that it was languishing. It was not in the mainstream consciousness until really 2007, when the movie was coming out, and then we finally got a really good series with animated. So it brought it back into mainstream culture. And I think that the fact that it's known so well now has to be attributed, at least in part, to the fact that it was brought back to the mainstream culture. Now, you could say, hey, it was Hasbro and Paramount that brought that back. They could have had a different director. It had nothing to do with Michael Bay. They had artists. It was the artist. It wasn't Michael Bay. And perhaps you're right. But nevertheless, I think most people will agree that they loved the first film. I did. And Michael Bay done that one. And guess what? I thought he'd done a great job. Now, I look at the films that follow it and say, look, they're not perfect, man. But they're fun. They're a fun popcorn flick. They're a fun movie to just sit down, watch, turn your brain off. Don't think too deep into it. The story follows through mostly fine, but yes, okay, there's a few holes that are there. There's certain characters not fleshed out. And the fact that exists, that the Bayverse exists, is what opened the door to films like the one that we most recently got with Bumblebee from Travis Knight. If the Bayverse didn't exist, we might not have this Travis Knight film. So while I agree and respect that, you know what, man, like it's not what, like a cinematic masterpiece. They're fun enough popcorn movies for what they are, and they serve the purpose of bringing Transformers back to the mainstream. And I think all of us who are fans can be very thankful that something was popular enough with mainstream culture to bring the franchise that we love back to the mainstream. So I can't really complain about it too much or despise it too much, even though, yes, I do agree, like, they don't look like what I had on my TV screen as a kid. I wish they did. The characterization is different. I wish it wasn't. Optimus Prime is a little more vicious. I wish he wasn't. Like, I get it. I get the criticisms, and I agree. But I also see the good that its existence has in making the franchise not only mainstream, but mainstream for such a long period, about a decade, that now it's kind of ingrained. It's kind of ingrained. And because we've seen it live action now, perhaps that opens the door for some other live action opportunities later on. We'll talk about that when we get to Viacom and CBS. A couple of other unpopular opinions came to my attention since last week, and there have been a lot of them, but a couple here in particular. Age of Extinction and The Last Night were great films. Well, we just talked about the films. They weren't great films. They were too long, but I mean, they gave us Drift and Crosshairs. I don't know. Do you love Drift and Crosshairs? I don't know. They gave us the mini Dinobots. Those things were cute. I don't know why they exist, but they were cute. The IDW universe stinks. I agree with this one. I don't like it. I've tried reading about 6 or 7 of those comics. Dark Cybertron was okay. Like All Hail Megatron is pretty good, but I know it got its fans, and I respect that, because I know for a lot of people it's their G1. But like there's a lot of characters in it that I don't really know. Like IDW Drift, I don't know. Nautica, I have no idea who she is at all. I know a little bit about the DJD. I know they're really cool, but I didn't like the storytelling, and not just with the Transformers. I don't like the editing department at that comic company. That's all. And this is coming from someone who's a Transformers fan and someone who was also a comic book collector for a good decade. I have so many of those white boxes. I had such aspirations. I was huge into it. So, I kind of pride myself a little bit on knowing how to tell a story and weave a story together. And I feel like a lot of things are assumed there that you already know it. I don't know. I mean, to each their own. It's just, it's not for me. And I know that that's an unpopular opinion, because I know a lot of people like it. So that's an unpopular opinion that I agree with, even though I know it's an unpopular opinion. And studio series Blackout is awful. Good friend of the channel, Andrew, recently brought this up to me, and he said that it was terrible. Now, I think that it was related to a lot of poor tolerances on his copy. I thought Blackout was an excellent studio series figure. What about you guys? Did you guys like Blackout? Do you think he was a strong studio series entry, or do you think he stinks? I think the general consensus is that he's really good, but I'd love to know what you guys think. And this one made me laugh. Studio series Shatter is toleranced really well. Shatter that wave has not come here. I already know that when she comes, I want the figure, and I know I'm going to have to do custom work on it. We're still back on the like World War II Bumblebee side swipe wave here, and they're pretty much, and the wave 4s now with KSI Sentry and Dropkick, like they're pretty much clogging the shelves. They're not really selling. So I don't know when or if we're even going to get the later ones. I guess they'll have to go on clearance first. But that was a few more. So I'm just going to check in here now, because I know I asked you guys a couple of questions. I just want to sort of see what you guys kind of said as we move on here to the next thing. Let's see. I really do have to scroll up here a little bit. Going down, let's see. What was revealed? Are you talking about the reveals? I'll get to that in the next topic. What was revealed? I'll get to that next topic. Bayverse, honestly, I feel like more of a lesson for the franchise. Marvelous Prime, that could be. Maybe it's a lesson for the franchise, and maybe that's why the Bumblebee movie is better received, because they can look at what didn't work with the Bayverse, and as they move forward, make films that could work better. I would still love to see like a new universe of films eventually somehow sort of collide with the Bayverse, maybe by a Unicron and Quintessa. I'd like to see it kind of come together to be one continuity, but I'm a canon, I'm a canon junkie basically. Rudy, hey, welcome. Glad you're here, buddy. Wheelmas Prime, I gave him the Matrix. Interesting. Let's see. Going down here a little bit. Adam, I think the live movies were great. They got me back into collecting. See, Adamantium Matrix right there said it. The live movies got him back into collecting. And honestly, it did kind of with me too, because I started looking at those figures, and I did have a movie Prime and a movie Megatron. Fast action battlers, actually, from what was that, ROTF, I think. And I started to pay more attention to that toy aisle. I always sort of glossed by it, like during the Unicron trilogy, but none of it really caught my attention, because I would see like Wheeljack, and I was like, that doesn't look like Wheeljack. And I know a lot of the movie figures didn't look like the G1 characters, but I liked the movie, so I was kind of able to accept them for what they were. And by the time I was back into it, like Fall of Cybertron, War for Cybertron was a thing, and I loved those figures. Let's see, show, bad, but it does have. Thank you. The show was bad. I guess Marvelous Prime. I assume you're talking about Unicron trilogy. I don't see anything good about it. I've tried multiple times to find something that I like about any of those, Armada, Cybertron, or Energon, and I can't. I don't like them. I have to be honest. I don't. More awareness to the Transformers brand. You're right, Larkin. It brought more awareness to the Transformers brand. I absolutely agree. Dark of the Moon, without a doubt. Glad that Rudy's. TF Fangeek, you're here. Glad to see you, buddy. What have I missed? Not too much yet. TF Fangeek. All I really talked about was kind of the legacy of the Bayverse, and if it had anything good, and a few more unpopular opinions. You can catch up, no problem, I'm sure. Going on down here pretty quickly to get through this. Transforming. They did, Rudy's right, they did give us the greatest ice cream van transforming toy ever. If you like Skids and Mudflap. I didn't like Skids and Mudflap. Just saying. Through this second movie, but the Duck Knight Returns. I love DuckTales. I'm not even going to pretend I don't. Green Turtle Gang, how is blah blah blah. And I think I'm trying to get through these a bit quicker. For Crosshairs and Drift versus the Twins, I agree. Maximal 10. If you mean like you prefer Crosshairs and Drift over, say, Skids and Mudflap, I absolutely agree. Absolutely 100% agree. Let's see. I like Blackout's character in the movie. My copy of the figure is a bit difficult to transform. I still love it, though. Adamantium Matrix. Yeah, I mean, mine is a bit difficult to transform, but I can't say it's a bad figure. I did have Fast Action Battlers Maximal 10. Yep. I had the Optimus and I had the Megatron. The Megatron was all right. I mean, he could have used a little more articulation, but he was all right, man. Popular opinion, Revenge of the Fallen is a better film than The Last Night. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. I think a lot of people would say, as bad as Revenge of the Fallen was, because it was done during the writer's strike, I think a lot of people would say it's still better than The Last Night. I like Armada, Megatron, and Cybertron Optimus. If you do, man, you know what? More power to you. I mean, every iteration of the franchise got its fans. I respect that. It's not for me, is all. What's the plaque on my wall? Most of you know that up here there was a thing that said to basically follow your dreams. And a lot of you know that Starscream wife and myself got married about a month ago, a little over a month ago now. Oh, we're almost closing in on a month and a half. This was one of our gifts. I think it came from my sister-in-law and her husband, and it has our names on it and the M and our wedding date, and everybody signed it. It's technically our guest book, but we had it like it's wooden and it's like painted and whatnot. It's it's specially made, and everybody signed it, so it's technically our guest book, but it's done on wood and hangs as a plaque. I'm glad somebody noticed that. Coupled with tidal wave. He's always got to be coupled with tidal wave maximal 10. By the way, speaking of Armada Megatron and coupled with tidal wave, all I'm going to say to you is stay tuned. I just recorded a video, Green Turtle Gaming, by himself. Okay. All right. So we're caught up there. Okay. So the reveals. This was asked a few minutes ago. I'm going to try and go through these fairly quickly. Some of them I've touched on. Some of them are pictures. Some of them are, in fact, reveals. Siege Hotshot. We saw more pictures of Siege Hotshot. And I don't like the character of Hotshot. He's annoying. Gets on my nerves. I think this was Hotshot from Cybertron. Somebody can clarify that for me. I don't know. I don't know Hotshot that well. He was annoying to me. I didn't like him. But it's a reuse of the Hound mold. I'm only on the Hound mold anyway. It's all right, but the way that like his legs unfold and tab into the front, at least on the copy that I had, like it worked fine, but I felt like it was really tight, and I'm afraid that it might stress crack over time. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it won't. I do think the paint on the Hotshot looks excellent. It's an interesting mold reuse. I don't know if the alt mode is accurate, but I think I like the look of it better than Hound, but I don't like the character as much as Hound, if that makes sense. We also saw this week from Toy World a gray prototype for their Tantrum and Rampage, their Predaking that they're working on. Now, these are gray prototypes, but it looks like in both beast mode and robot mode, they are extremely well articulated. They look to be anyway. I've heard that the size is going to be basically comparable to Titan class Predaking, so about 18, 19 inches. I think it's intended to be with your Masterpiece collection. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I don't know what exactly it's intended to go with. It looks so stylized that I don't think it really fits in with Masterpiece, but we'll wait until we see colored images. But I'll say this, I like the animal modes, and I kind of like the robot modes. I think it looks really promising. There might be an oversaturation of Predaking in the market now, but I think that this looks promising nevertheless. We also saw, and I believe they're even out at retail in the US, we also saw Battle Class Cyberverse for Ratchet, Grimlock, and Shockwave. If you're unaware, this Battle Class is basically a little bit bigger than the kind of traditional Legends class. Like it's kind of between traditional, it's kind of around like traditional Legends Scout class. It's a bit smaller than a Deluxe, but I'll say this, while I'm not down for the like armor, I do absolutely dig the figures. I think that they are turning out really well. I wish that they were more of a deluxe size. Take their warrior class, drop the gimmicks, make these a little bit bigger, maybe drop the armor because I don't think it's needed. And I think you've got a pretty good line, actually. They all look good. Even the Grimlock looks good in both modes. And I haven't been big on the Cyberverse Grimlock thus far. What else did we have? We had some images of the Amazon 3-pack of Impactor and the Clear Mirage and the Power Dasher that's in there. I still want that Power Dasher. And we also saw, kind of in the same breath, the retail Impactor in a picture, and I see the differences now between the two. I think the Amazon one, especially if you're a fan of the comics, I think the Amazon one is going to be up your alley. I think it's the one that you're going to want. For me, the regular retail version will be fine because I really don't, I don't know the character. I have no idea who Impactor is. Not a clue. I'll find out when the time comes that I get the figure, because I do like the kind of goldy, orangey, yellowy mixed with the purple. I think that's such a cool color scheme. I love it. But I can see why some people, like, I've heard people say, like, no, I want that head sculpt. I see it. I totally see it. I absolutely understand where you're coming from, man. What else do we have here? And then we saw some pictures too of Barricade, and like the Siege Barricade looks cool, but I didn't realize that he has like lavender or periwinkle or something, you know, like biceps and forearms and hands and abdomen and upper thighs. Like, I don't know if I like that. I think I would have preferred if it was just black. I know he'd be really black with just a few highlights, but I think when I get him, I might, if I get him, I think I might paint his arms and his abs and his upper legs black. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll look better in hand. I do like the head sculpt on that. I do even like the alt mode. I don't like the Cybertronian alt mode for Prowl and Smokescreen and whatnot, but I think I dig it. I think I absolutely dig it for Barricade. I think it kind of maybe works for him. We also saw from Iron Factory a samurai bludgeon that sort of has I think they're called Oni demons face rather than just a skull face, and a Lyo convoy. Now here's the interesting thing. It's coming from Iron Factory, but I don't think that it's actually legend scale. Now I could be wrong. Maybe it will end up being legend scale. I don't think it's known what scale it is, but I feel like it looks like it might be bigger. Like, it looks like it might be a different line, a bit of a departure from what they usually do. They look really cool though. I haven't seen a lot on them. I will say this. I think the bludgeon has a little bit too much green on him. The Lyo convoy looks amazing. If you haven't checked it out, find the images, man. There's a lot of them around. Check them out. They're really good. Then we have the Zeta movie Blitzwing was revealed. Zeta doing a couple of movie things. Apparently it's supposed to scale with their Bumblebee. I'm of the camp that Zeta does combiners really well. Really well. I think that there's a lot of promise to their Unicron. But I don't know if we even need them going into the movie parts. I don't know, maybe. That being said, I've also heard this rumor that somebody said that apparently the Zeta Unicron is going to be something like a meter tall. That's ridiculous. Nobody on this planet needs or should have a meter tall toy. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. And I'm not going to apologize for it or defend it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Moving on. Transcraft. Never heard of them. Seems like it's a new company to me. Transcraft came out with a mohawk that apparently is going to match the movie Masterpiece line. Looks cool. We have no figure of mohawk whatsoever. I think that if this company, if it's a new company, if they can pull this off, I think it's a good way to go, because it's a character that hasn't been done. And it's the sort of thing that anyone who's a fan of the movies, which does have a mainstream following, might be down for adding to their Decepticon ranks with mohawk. I'd like to have a mohawk. And apparently the robot looks cool, slightly stylized, looks cool. And apparently the bike, though I haven't seen any pictures for it, word is, chatter has it, if you will, that the bike is fantastic and very compact. Going down a little bit more here, we had from Magic Square, their Seekers. And was it their Seekers? No, they're Megatron. That's what I wanted to talk about. Magic Square and their Legends class Megatron looks pretty great. I feel like the head on it might be just a touch, just a tad small, just a little bit small. But what I found interesting is it was on display with Seekers and a Soundwave and 3 members that make up Reflector. I don't remember seeing their Soundwave. Maybe Magic Square did show all this, but I don't remember seeing the great prototypes of their Seekers or their Soundwave or their Reflector. I'm very, very interested in Magic Square's take on Reflector. I like the size. My Perfect Effect Scouting Force is still my ideal Reflector. I don't have the Siege one yet. We'll see what happens there. But I'm very interested to see what Magic Square comes up with. They seem a little bit smaller. And in that same breath, we also had New Age show their Legends scaled Megatron this week, and it comes with a multitude of faces, both in kind of the gray color and then in the like silver toy accurate, like got the chest hairs color. It comes with like that helmet thing that he wore that one episode to control Optimus or whatever, and I think it comes with the blaster that he used maybe to shoot Optimus. The point is, there's 2 Legends class Megatrons coming out, and both of them look very good. However, in the past, Legends class Megatrons don't typically do that great, man. They don't tend to do that well. Like the articulation tends to be not great, or the transformation is too fiddly or whatever. But both of these look really good. I'm interested to see more as it comes. We also found out that I want to say, I'm not even sure where it was, but apparently I want to say the UK had Powertrain and High Jump get released. Now, I just this morning, if you haven't checked it out yet, check it out. Just this morning, I looked at the Micromaster 10 pack, and the 2 new molds in that pack were Iron Tread, who is Ironworks from the constructions site base thing from G1. So it's an update of that character. And then Rycon. And yes, apparently it's pronounced Rycon, like icon. And like, it's those molds that are used for these 2 characters. The truck is all right. It's an okay truck, but only okay. The leg articulation is great on it. The arm articulation is not great. But then we get to Rycon, and I like the mold, but at first I didn't, because my particular copy, I could not at all move the legs. They popped right off. The ball joint was too big. I had to do a bit of work on it. I explained it in the video. But then somebody that's in the chat here, I don't remember who it was, but I recognized it earlier. Who was it? It might have been an MWG. Was it you, man? Who said yours was tolerance just fine? I think so. It might be results will vary, and I think I said that in the review. Fun little set. We also had from Transform Element their B revealed, and it's like a movie B. It looks really good. It seems to be painted to the 9s. I have no idea what the alt mode is like. I have no idea what the paint apps, or sorry, what the transformation will be like. The paint apps look great. I think that their G1 Optimus looked really, really stunning. And I think this looks really well, or really good as well. And I think that might be it for kind of my take on reveals and images and pictures from the week. We do have the business stuff to get into, and that will kind of take us out of here at that point. Oh, business stuff and Universal Collision episode 2, Pursuit Among the Stars, tomorrow. I'm going to take a look at the comments here again from you guys, because I know you've been talking and chattering away while I'm over here with my big mouth just yapping away. Just nobody's paying attention to me. It's all about the cool kids in the chat. Don't blame you. I really don't blame you. But I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a preview, and then we'll do the business stuff and save the preview stuff for the end. Let's see. Going down here, taking a quick little look. Let's see. Just discussion on Transformers live movie. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. I think I scrolled up a bit too far. I know I'm saying a lot of here. Sorry about that. I'm a slow reader. What do you want? I think I probably got to pick it up at about here. Yeah, about here. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. You didn't borrow. I did not borrow yours. No, I did not borrow yours. I did look at Tidal Wave before from somebody else, and that same somebody else has an Armada Megatron that he has told me I can take a look at with Tidal Wave. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And I've never in my life even held Armada Megatron in my hand. It's going to be interesting because it will be my first experience with that mold. Let's see. Reveals, there was like I said, there was a lot of them. I enjoy Hotshot and TF Fan Geek. I get it. I here's the thing, like, I know I'm hard on Unicron Trilogy. I know I am, but I also know it has its fans. And while I'm hard on it, you know what? I'm really glad that there was that Generations Starscream. I'm glad that there was in the Siege line the Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime. I'm glad that there's a hot shot being done. Not because it's necessarily for me, but because I think that it's only fitting, right, and fair that other fans of other parts of the franchise should get a bit of love too. Absolutely. I feel like we'll have the same discussion one day when people are looking back, you know, at like Transformers Prime. And I know we look back at Transformers Prime, but I don't think it's far enough removed yet for people to really have the nostalgia factor for it. Like another 10, 15 years, I think it'll be really interesting to see how this conversation goes then. You didn't find him annoying? And Green Turtle Gaming, if you didn't, great. If you didn't find him annoying, that's fair, man. Sita is Cybertronian hotshot. Oh, Cybertron hotshot. Okay, well, fair enough. Fair enough. And I thought that about the coloring because I thought he got recolored in Cybertron. Is based on Hotshot is based on Hot Rod. Yeah, Hotshot is based on Hot Rod. I don't like Hot Rod either, so maybe that's why I don't like Hotshot. It's another BotBots review. Really? I've never reviewed BotBots. Is BotBots any good? Oh, that's what you got recorded, a BotBots review. Oh. That's how I enjoy BotBots, vicariously through other people. I love the names of those things. They're not from me and my collection, but I love watching other people like Green Turtle Gaming doing it. Guys, if you haven't checked out Green Turtle Gaming and any BotBots coverage, check it out. Let's see. This is Cybertronian Hotshot for Cybertron Line. It looks accurate. I don't know though, since I don't have it. Did Hotshot from Cybertron have like a truck Jeep type of mode? That's my question to you guys. Did he have a truck Jeep type of mode? When are the Wave 3s coming out? I don't know. Wave 3 is showing up. And when you say Wave 3s, I assume that you mean for the Siege line. I don't know. They're showing up all over the place. They haven't shown up in my neck of the woods, but they seem to be popping up here and there. I really want Brund. I could say that. So I'd say keep checking now because they're showing up now. Let's see. The battle class are in the US pretty much deluxes. Okay, so yeah, and that's like here. Like we have one Springer, and we've had actually this week I'll be taking a look at these guys. It is the Sports Car Patrol with Blackjack and Hyperdrive. I actually have a plan for this Blackjack, and I know that these are two mold reuses, but I find them a little more interesting than I thought I was going to find them. I'll say that. We'll talk about that when we do the review of the week. So they have come. Springer has come. No Deluxes here yet. And we haven't had Smashdown. Is that name? Smashdown, the Hammer, or Caliburst yet. So it's spotty. What else is new about distribution, you know? Power Dasher with Mirage and Impactor. Aragon. Yes, Aragon. Thank you, TF Fangy. Aragon is the Power Dasher's name. I appreciate that. When I get Siege Impactor, I will do a figure spotlight video about him. A figure spotlight on Impactor would help someone like me because I don't know the guy. I know he's like, or was leader of the Wreckers. I know he's kind of like old and battle worn and rough around the edges, but like I don't really know him. Mirage looks good enough. 3-pack, blah blah blah. The Mirage is cool. I like this Mirage. I dig it. Had they missed the boat with releasing Predacons? There's quite a few to choose from. Yeah, there are maybe too many Predacons to choose from now, Rudy. I kind of tend to agree with you there. I love ridiculousness. Ridiculousness. You just don't hear that very often. Periwinkle. Periwinkle. You ever notice there's sometimes like there's words that are just funny and fun to say? Like periwinkle is one. Pickle. Pickle is always, you're laughing right now. You know you're laughing right now because pickle is just a funny word, especially when somebody says it like me that probably has a bad accent. I don't think I have any accent, but I bet you guys do. There were subscribers. Those all. What? I'm long. I have no idea what shot my maximal 10. I have no idea. Zachmas. Hey, Zachmas, it has to be like 3 o'clock in the morning or something where you are. No, maybe 1 o'clock. Hey, I bet you it's late where you are. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for staying up late and joining us, man. Mohawk looks amazing. It's been 2 years since I came out, and we're getting a third-party toy. Now we need Onslaught and Dreadbot. Green Turtle Gaming, I absolutely agree. Green Turtle Gaming just said it's great that we're getting a Mohawk. Better late than never, basically. We need now a Onslaught and Dreadbot. I absolutely agree 100%. Absolutely. Going down here a little bit. Cybertron. Hotshot had a car mode, and then he got a Jeep mode. Okay, so he did have a Jeep mode. Hotshot initially was okay. All right, so he did get a Jeep mode, so I guess it is accurate. Snoke, glad you're here, buddy. I'm watching Indiana Jones, Raider of the Lost Ark 2 while watching this. You got the best of both worlds, man. M, glad to see you're here, buddy. By the way, guys, I'm going to say it. If you don't check out T&B regularly, you should be checking out T&B regularly. It's funny. I used to always comment to M. This is specifically to you, M. I used to always comment, and now I don't because I never comment on the podcast. Though I will tell you now, I still try and catch it as much as I humanly can. I still absolutely enjoy it. I don't have the ability to interact the same because I usually just find the link that Joe posts somewhere and take it from there. Let's see, referring to car microns. Let's see, Decepticon Micromaster set is okay, a little better than Autobot versions. I tend to agree with you, MWG. Referring to, yeah, I tend to agree with you. Let's see what else we got here. Going down. Absolutely, M. You deserve the shout out, my friend. Sadly, there's nowhere to have comments for. No, there's not anywhere to have comments for the podcast. And I always swear to myself because I'm always doing something like I'll be doing a workout or I'm working out in the shed or something like that. And I'll always swear to myself, like, I'm going to make note of that and I'm going to contact the guys and let them know what I thought about it. I never remember because I'm old and I have a bad memory. And then I do things like this. I hurt myself today. I was fixing a window frame and anyway, cut myself because I shouldn't. Nobody should give me tools. Simple as that. Okay, so we have a couple of things still to cover here while M is saying hi to Rudy. It was recently announced, actually it was announced today, if I'm not mistaken, that apparently Viacom and CBS will be merging. Apparently it's all but a done deal. Now, why does this matter to us? Viacom apparently is the parent company of, that's right, Paramount. And Paramount has a deal with Hasbro through 2022. And they're working on like a Micronauts movie and a couple of G.I. Joe movies and Dungeons and Dragons and presumably Transformers. So what does this mean? In terms of the agreement, I don't know if it means anything. I think the agreement is still going to be held up through 2022. The real kind of big rumor coming out of this news is the potential, and I think that this is a pretty far out rumor, the potential for a live action G.I. Joe and live action Transformers series on CBS. First things first, if either of those were to happen, I think it would be like Star Trek Discovery, and it would be on CBS All Access in the US and probably like on Space up here in Canada, would be my guess. I don't know. I think a live action G.I. Joe might work, could be okay if it's done well. A live action Transformers, like a weekly show, I don't know, man. I'd love to see it, but I feel like the cost of production for that would be pretty astronomical. And I feel like it would devolve into a lot of like humans running around. And for the last 5 minutes of the episode, there'd be 1 or 2 Transformers that come in. Like, I feel like it would end up being like that and get panned as not good. Some people have asked Is this going to affect the War for Cybertron program that's going to be on Netflix? I don't think so, because I think that's a different, like, I think Hasbro has a contract with Netflix specifically for that via things like Allspark Studios, their own in-house studio. I think that they have a separate movie agreement with like Paramount for kind of like, it's sort of like how Star Trek Discovery and shows coming up like Picard are part of like the prime timeline continuity that was always on TV. But then the film continuity, that Kelvin timeline, is a completely separate continuity. It's a separate contract. It's a separate business entity. I think that this would work the same way. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if anything comes of those rumors. Wouldn't hold my breath though, man. I wouldn't hold my breath. Also, in the same vein of business news, well, not business news, but business questions. I've had a lot of debate this week with a couple of people, well known in the fandom. I'm not going to, say any names here, but well known in the fandom, about size versus cost. And as I talk about the figures, I think most people will know that they've probably seen and heard these same conversations, and a lot of the groups in the chat are going around, which is fine. The idea was asked of me after I did the custom Violin Jiger. Would you be down for a Commander class or a Titan class Violin Jiger? No. No, I'm not spending that kind of money on a Violin Jiger. That's nuts. And then this person, a couple of people actually, said, yeah, but you have a character like Starsaber, or actually Victory Saber it was, who's bigger than Jetfire. Jetfire is bigger than the rest. Jetfire is a commander class, which means, Victory Saber should probably be two commander class figures put together. And Die Atlas is bigger than that. And Violin Jiger is bigger than Die Atlas, according to like one comic page. So go figure. So Die Atlas should be a Titan, as should Violin Jiger. Like a Titan here in Canada, taxes in is $285. Here's my thing. And the same conversation can be had if we talk about whether or not, say, Starsaber should be a leader class figure or, say, a commander class figure. On a fan side, on a toy side, on an accurate scale side, and all this stuff, okay, I understand why maybe a commander class figure would make sense. I don't. The idea of Titans for Die Atlas and Violin Jiger, I think, are preposterous. I don't think anybody knows them. I mean, it's enough of a stretch and a challenge to sell Trypticon, who's much more well-known because everyone in North America grew up with G1. Everyone in Japan might be down for a Die Atlas and a Violin Jiger of that size, but I don't think outside of Japan, because not many other places in the world got those series, I don't think that there's enough of a proliferation of the character that when the general public sees it on shelf, they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm willing to drop $200 or $300 for that character I've never heard of. Case in point, right now, even down in the US at this store, Ollie's, you still see a bunch of Trypticons, and he's well known. Like, I don't know if I'm out to lunch, but I feel like sometimes there has to be an acceptance of a size that makes sense because the character isn't popular enough to warrant the price point for a bigger size. I don't think, like Starsaber, I think a leader class Starsaber would probably make sense. In the States, people might pay $50 for Starsaber. I don't know if they're going to pay 80. I don't know if they know him well enough. I don't know if enough people know him well enough to warrant a production run at that price point. Up here in Canada, people might pay 80 for a Starsaber. They're not paying 120. Nobody's going to pay $250 for a Violin Jiger, or in the States, I guess $159.99. That seems to be the going rate for a Titan down there. I don't think anybody's going to pay $159.99 for a Violin Jiger or Die Atlas. And I think Takara even knew that people wouldn't pay that kind of money for it. That's why they gave us the big powered box set with those sizes, realizing people will accept this as the size because some folks will sort of recognize him, but nobody's really clear on just how big he is. That's my take on it. I think you have to balance what sort of price would people actually be willing to pay with what makes sense for the character and a production run. And then some things just don't make sense at all. Like that Unicron thing. I know everybody keeps talking about it. I'm so tired of talking about it. But like, it would never be produced for mass retail because it would never, ever, ever in a billion years sell. It would never take up space on like a retail shelf. It wouldn't. And until this whole HasLab thing came into being, people would have been like, okay, that's fine. Like, we're not going to produce it because there's no point. The only reason that it's even a topic of discussion is because they have this now where they can say, well, yeah, he's too expensive for us to bother to produce him for the fans. So what we'll do is we'll put him out there and we'll see if we can get enough pre-orders, see if enough people, bite on what we want for. Sure, it's a greedy amount, but that's okay because people like him. That's my take on it. And I know it sounds harsh. I apologize to anybody who is in for backing him because I know it sounds harsh, but I don't think I can apologize for having that view anymore, because the further we go on, the more like grinding my gears this becomes, Okay, so that's the business done. I'm going to go back to the comments, and then we have one topic left to cover, and then we're going to get out of here. We've been on here a while now, and it is time for us to get out of here. Well, time for us to get out of here, I think. Let's see. I don't care for accuracy to the cartoon that much. Just size as well. Violent Jiger would be a commander or leader. Well, yeah, and that's the thing with Violent Jiger. I think he'd work as a leader, which is why I extended the legs to make him taller. He still sort of towers over a lot of characters now, but like he doesn't turn into a base. He turns into 3 big bugs. I don't want a Titan that turns into 3 big bugs. Just saying, it's not for me. But I got to go back up here a bit. Let's see. No, you are not in the next, Zachamus. You are not in the next episode. You need to stop asking. You will know when you are in, because you will hear your voice. Trust me, my friend. You will hear your voice when the time comes. After the deal expires, Disney will buy. Maximal 10 might be right. In 2023, after the deal with Paramount expires, Disney will probably strike a movie deal with them. I totally agree. If not, buy them outright. CBS All Access is building up. That Picard show looks very interesting. I absolutely agree. MWG, I can't wait for it. I was a huge Next Generation Voyager Deep Space Nine fan. Huge, enormous. Best of both worlds. Indiana Jones and Gotbot. I'm thankful for the Bumblebee movie. Yeah, so am I, Larkin. If Big Power wasn't localized, then why would Violent Jiger even get the what? If Big Power wasn't localized, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, why would Violent Jiger even get the toy? I agree. Yes, I agree. I love the Bumblebee movies. Let's see. Nobody would buy a Violent Jiger. That's right, because nobody knows Violent Jiger. I'm just the freaky little guy who discovered him because I went right up to the end of Return to Convoy. By the way, I love when people talk to me like I haven't read or watched all this stuff like a billion times. Yes, I have. I know what I'm talking about with it. Don't talk to me like I don't. I do. And people do like to talk that way. I know the Japanese stuff backwards and forwards just as much as anyone else, except for the Legends comics stuff that came with the figures. But our good friend of the channel, Masterfire, always fills me in on those because he follows them really closely. And as much as I love Violent Jiger, because I think he's such a freaky character, which is why I wanted to make him, I don't believe he'd sell. Do you know, after I put up that custom, do you know how many? I had to have about 50 people across either, like on the review or across social media come to me and be like, who is this guy? I don't even know who this is. At least 50. No, he wouldn't sell. It wouldn't make sense. The biggest for me would be Commander. I agree, Larkin. The biggest for me would be Commander for somebody like Violent Jiger. Absolutely. Let's see. New out about the Bumblebee movie. Will help more accurate representations of the characters in the next. The Bumblebee movie. Adamantium Matrix, I think, said it best here. The Bumblebee movie, I think, will help more accurate representations of other characters in future movies. I agree, because we already have a lot of those characters and their models set up because of that Cybertron scene. And a lot of people like how they look. Ratchet, RC, even Braun. Yes, they're slightly stylized, but it's no mistaking who they are at all. And you can pick out like their shoulders, their arms, their face. You can pick them out. They make sense. I absolutely agree. Takara retooling something to make these figures. Retooling something existing to make these figures. I agree, Larkin. Something. Let's see. Going down here, the gray or gray for you fellas across the book. Repainted Shockwave is just too expensive for the size. Shockwave, good point. Good point. Here's the thing. Sometimes when we pay too much for a figure, and we've all done it. Let's be realistic. We've all done it. The only reason it's such a hot, well-known topic now is because everybody's been talking about it in relation to Unicron, where it's such a big dollar item. But we've all overpaid at times. And here's the thing. I keep thinking of two things. A fool and their money is soon parted, and a sucker's born every minute. That's what I keep thinking when I hear about paying too much for something. And I've done it. Case in point, Shockwave. Shockwave is perfect. He really is. But he's a Voyager figure. I paid, here in Canada, I paid the full leader class price, which was $70. Paid the full leader class price for the guy. But he's not worth that. He's a Voyager. And here, a Voyager is $40. And even a Voyager isn't really worth that. Shockwave is a good $30 toy. I overpaid for it. I was a sucker. That's the thing. I admit and I accept and I take the onus and the responsibility on myself that I was a sucker, and I'm happy for it. But I do also know when to draw the line. Like, I think it's an acceptable time to kind of, be sucked in, and there's a time when you have to say, whoa, I don't think I'm going to be sucked in this time. Just saying.
$70 for Shockwave?
I paid $70 for Shockwave. Rung got a... See? Rung, I was wondering if we were going to get through this live stream, this episode, without her chiming in. Guess not, folks. Rung got a Battle Master size, not deluxe. Yeah, Rung probably deserved a deluxe. I don't know Rung. I'm fine with the Battle Master. Don't know the character. Can't speak on it. My first own Transformer. I'll be interested to know what your first own Transformer is, Zachamus. Crimson Raptor, glad to see you, buddy. And I think it's a good size, and he's a retool, which is cheaper to make. Retools are always cheaper to make. Larkin's right there. Didn't get localized. Let's see. Which is the point? Blah, 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 going down. I think we're almost down here. You'll enjoy. Okay. Hey, everyone. What a rant. Never wanted. What? A Nerf gun so bad. Oh, Starscream wife. She just likes to shoot me with Nerf guns. Nerf darts. By the way, when she done that last week, I had to look for all them after. That was brutal. It was no fun at all. Leader class Star... TF Fangeek says it here. Leader class Star Saber. Yes, I would be in for that. Commander class Star Saber. I'm not in for it. It's too expensive. I'll be in for it when it goes on clearance. Leader class Death Source. Yes. Again, I would be absolutely in for it. Anything bigger? No, not. Starscream wife. Everybody loves Starscream wife. Isn't she just great? Lot better than Gotbot. She likes to think so. What? I look like a gym teacher? What? I'm not. Not at all. I'm not into sports, not even a little bit. Not even an ounce. Dramatic Gotbot stare. I do a lot of dramatic stares. I do those in real life too. Feel like I just got Rudy got me busted. Nah, you didn't get me busted, buddy. Not in the least. It's all good. Borrow my melted Nerf darts. Why are you melting Nerf darts, man? We've really gone off the rails here. Leader class Star Saber and maybe Voyager. What? Oh, Voyager Leo Prime. Absolutely agree with Maximal 10. Voyager Leo Prime or Leo Convoy, whatever you want to call them, and Leader class Star Saber. I'd be on board. Absolutely. 100% I'd be on board, actually. But now I'm probably going to make the Transformer version of Zachamus, ladies and gentlemen, Zachamus Prime, who will, by the end of Season 2 of Universal Collision, be best known as the voice of Perceptor. is turning a Megatron into a version of himself. I will be interested to see that when it's all said and done. Shockwave comes with Sentinel drone. I don't care if he comes with Sentinel drone. I think what you mean to say is he comes with a bunch of junk plastic that goes thrown to the side. That's what it is. It's all unnecessary. I don't care about Sentinel drone. Don't justify this for him. Don't justify this for him. She's such a mean lady. I got what someone told me. What? I sound like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. And did you look? TF Angie, if somebody told you that you sounded like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, did you reply with excellent? Because that's what I would have done. We were just waiting because she always is in the stream. She usually is, and she said she wasn't going to be in the stream this time. Yeah, she's lurking. She says waiting in the shadows. I say creepily lurking in the shadows. 9-year-old you burn Nerf darts. That's dark, man. That's dark. Okay, so the last thing tomorrow. I hope all of you that's here, and there's a lot of you here now, and I absolutely thank you guys for being here. Tomorrow we have the premiere of episode 2 of season 2 of Universal Collision, and it is Pursuit Among the Stars. In episode 1 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to try and keep the 2-week schedule. We're going to lose it eventually because the production is taking so long. But 2 weeks ago, of course, we got the kind of initial start of the story with the Autobots, and we were in 4 separate corners, and we know now that these 4 different groups of Autobots are all left to converge at the coordinates where Cybertron should be in space. But since Primus, who is Cybertron, is trapped in limbo, basically, what's in space where he should be? So while we have those 4 groups of Autobots just left, we also had spies for 4 groups of Decepticons who in this episode are going to report back, and we're going to see kind of some of the dynamics of how the Decepticons work, some of the machinations that they have, and we're going to kind of see who's part of what group and who seems like they're probably going to be the most dominant one. As well, we're going to come across the Fallen. He does have a role here. Now, I want to point something out because a couple of people asked me about it from last week. Keep in mind that when you see Nemesis Prime, when you see the Fallen, I guess I should say when you see Nemesis Prime and his cohorts, when you see the Fallen, and whenever you see Galvatron, Cyclonus, and their cohorts, keep in mind that they are, in essence, all working together under the influence, the, I suppose, stare in the shadows of Unicron. So there is a third machination going on here. However, some people have questioned it, and those same people probably didn't watch the season 2 prelude because all of that is kind of covered there. So that's kind of your lead-in for tomorrow. We're going to learn about 4 groups of Decepticons. We're going to see what their motivations are, and some of them are a little messed up. I'm not going to pretend they're not. Some of them are a little messed up. It's going to be an interesting ride going forward as the race home begins. Well, it's already begun, but the race home pursued by the Decepticons begins tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to check it. I hope all you guys tune in tomorrow. I made a poll after last week's show. Should we do these as premieres, or should I just put the video up? 67% said do them as premieres. Premieres, that's a pretty vast majority. So there you go. Okay, just to check in here. Real quick again, let's see. All right, episode 2, looking forward to it. TF Fan Geek, I'm glad you're looking forward to it, buddy. Really am. Is it the black hole cause? Is the black hole caused by Unicron? The collapse was caused by Unicron, who really manipulated Megatron into making an interdimensional gate. And when he made the interdimensional gate, Unicron basically used that technology to bring himself out and cause all of the walls between all of the various realities to collapse. He left one little hole, one little black hole for himself to escape, because his true motivation was not necessarily to collapse the multiverse. His true motivation was very self-serving, as you would probably expect Unicrons to be. His true motivation was just to release himself from that void of nothingness, his prison, and trap his brother Primus there. And that's exactly what he succeeded in doing. At the end of the day, Primus got trapped in limbo, in that void of nothingness. Unicron went to the one outer world, the one outer universe that he didn't touch. And now he's free to devour when he has the energy. He's free to devour because who's there to stop him? It was all self-serving. He manipulated Megatron. It's as simple as that. Episode 2, they should try and make another Dreamwave Fallen figure. They should absolutely try and make another Fallen figure. I agree. And a Dreamwave one at that. Maximal 10, I agree. Yes. Do them as premieres. That's what's going to happen. Yes, I loved the live premiere. Well, we're going to have the premiere tomorrow night. And that's it, ladies and gents. We are absolutely done here. I appreciate you sticking with me. I know that this has been a little while. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there is a donation link down in the description. You know that I always ask you guys to please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so very much. I appreciate you giving me some of your very valuable time. I do know tomorrow that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos, or I suppose to be more accurate, it's really inside the live stream, or well, no, I guess it's inside the premiere tomorrow. And with that being said, I think we're done here. Thanks again, guys.